We're at episode 4, guys. Almost till 5. And this is the Homestead Shop Talk with Al from Lumnah Acres, Ben from Hollar Homestead, and myself, Jason from Sow the Land. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about homestead projects that we have been putting off. How long do we want this podcast?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. And then first we're going to talk about our week and talk about what we got going on and what's happening. So how have you guys been?
Been doing pretty good. Trying to stay out of the heat. Trying not to get wiped out by the heat. But yeah, been pretty busy. It's a busy time of year.
We've been having the heat and the rain. It seems like we're contending one or the other, and the rain's it's been coming down, getting like an inch or 2 inches at a time, and I'll be glad when that's over with. So, but
yeah, we got probably like maybe 2 days of rain, or no, maybe like one night. I think this week it really poured down. Like it was like all of a sudden, like wind, rain, and then that was it. So yeah, this week I put out that I finally finished that water tower that I was working on. I put out that video. That took me 2 weeks to put together and film it and edit it. I'm already thinking I'm gonna update it after seeing it up there for a while, for at least a week, and then after we got a couple good rains, it didn't really fill up like I thought it would. I think with the amount of rain we got, even though it was a short amount of time of rain, I feel like it should have filled up. And so I think the problem is maybe the roof is not big enough. Like it needs a bigger footprint up there, and so I'm thinking I might extend that a little bit. But yeah, I'll probably film it and do another video on it, just kind of update it. But I don't know, I could be wrong, but I feel like it should have filled up with all that rain, because it hasn't filled up yet. It's been over a week. So yeah, working on that. Let's see. Trying to think of. Oh, I did that. I think I mentioned it on a previous podcast, but I was working on. I wrote my first article for a magazine.
Oh, nice.
The Homestead Living magazine. It was about building a chicken tractor. So that wasn't. I thought it was going to be like a horrible. Because I never wrote something before like that. I was, I didn't want to do it. I did not want to do it. Like they asked me, and I was like, my first thought was like, no, I don't want to do that. Like that doesn't seem fun to me. But then I was like, you know what? I probably should do it. Like because I've never done it before. I should try it and just go through it and see if I could do it. And so the editor, I think he was the editor. I was asking him, I was like, well, where do I start? What do you want me to talk about? Like stuff like that. So luckily he was pretty cool, and he helped me. He kind of guided me through it a little bit, and I think it came out good. Like it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Once you start, it's like talking in a video. Sometimes you don't know what to talk about, but just start talking, just start saying stuff. And the next thing you know, you kind of get more comfortable, and you just start explaining stuff, and it comes out, and it comes out okay. So yeah, that's out.
When's that magazine come out?
It's out now.
That you're in. Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's a digital magazine, so it's not like a physical magazine.
Yep.
So it's something like people could go to their website, Homestead Living magazine website, and then buy a digital magazine or subscription. So it's out now.
That's cool.
What else? Let's see.
So now you're a published author. You can say.
Well, published article author. two-page article.
I think that's more than we've got, so you're doing good.
What else?
That's right.
Just posted my 1,000th YouTube video this week.
Oh,
Wow.
1,000. I'm not sure.
Man,
Ain't nothing happening when you hit 1,000 videos.
I'm not
You
even
just
sure
have
how many
1,000
we
videos.
have. I'll have to
It
check.
seems like a lot.
Yeah, that's cool though. That's a milestone for
Yeah, it doesn't
sure.
really. That's After doing it 6 years, 1,000 videos. So I always felt like if anyone wants to know how to do like maybe start up a homestead, like they just watch even one of your guys's. We got a bunch of videos. If you start from the
Right.
beginning and just go and go
Work your
see
way
all of
through.
them, like that's how we did it. Like that's how we did it all, because we pretty much filmed everything. Um, what else? I finally installed my back bumper on my mini truck. So in order to
Nice.
move that water tower, I needed to install the back bumper. It would just been easier to move, because that's how I pulled it out
Yeah.
there. And so I thought after I finished the tower, I was like, oh wait, I don't have a bumper. Like I should install the bump so that, but I wanted to film that. So after I did the water tower, I filmed putting the bumper on because I needed the bumper to pull the water tower. So that video that I'm going to install, that install bumper video is going to be another separate video. So it's like I can't do one without the other. But no, it came out really good. I really like that bumper. It seems pretty solid. What else? That's about it. I think Lorraine's been doing some organizing in the basement. We got I know last time when we first moved in, Ben helped us organize our basement a little bit, but we haven't really touched it since. So, when you first move into a house, you just kind of throw stuff because you just want to get in there and move in. We still have stuff in those spots that are still there. And we're like, man, there's probably a lot of things we could probably get rid of, and just organize better. But, that's just always ongoing. It's never done. So I still have my tools all in my basement. I go back and forth of redoing my horse barn into like a workshop or just building a whole new workshop. I don't like the barn in a sense. It's all open, like it has just the slatted wood, and you can see through it. Like it's not, and you put metal in there, it just rusts, and it's just, I just don't know if I want to fix that up, or it'd be nice just to put a big metal building somewhere. I don't even need anything that big, but yeah, that's about it.
You always need a bigger workshop.
What's that?
You can never have a big enough workshop. It's always too small.
That is the truth.
Yeah.
We poured the concrete slab last week, and then we started shifting gears and started working back on our house while we're waiting for Ken and his guys to come back, help us building the workshop. And I made a big like $2,500 mistake on this next project that we're working on. So it's kind of, yeah, it was an ouch. So I don't know. I learned my lesson. We'll put it that way. But
You gonna
then we
let us
got
wait to
to
see
our-
the video?
oh yeah, you'll have to wait. I just gotta tease it, but it's one of those lessons that you won't forget. I guess it's the way I try to look at failures. Like they sting the worst, but you remember them the best.
Yep.
Like every time when you do good, you don't remember it as well. So it's never
Yeah.
a failure. It's just a learning lesson.
Yeah.
And then I just remind myself I never went to college, so I didn't spend like $100,000 on a college degree. So if I have to spend $2,500 here and there, it's okay.
That's true.
But I don't know. That's the way I try to look at it. Makes me feel a little better. And then we started doing our first meat bird butchering this past weekend. Did 62 meat birds or 58 meat birds, and we had 4 roosters that had to go. We had 5 roosters, and we had 4 too many. So
What kind of meat birds?
we did the McMurray hatchery broilers.
The red ones?
No, the white
Cornish,
ones.
Cornish cross?
The corn, yeah, Cornish crosses.
Oh, okay.
We had good luck with them. We only lost a couple. I think we lost two right away, and then we've been having so much rain. I think we lost, a few more out in the field, mostly because the fields are always damp and wet. So it's usually after a big rainstorm, we'd come out and we'd have one or two chickens in the chicken tractor. It's like, yep, unfortunately, I'm not surprised, but
Now,
that's too bad.
Who butchered the chickens? Just you guys, or?
so me, Gina, and then we had Gina's parents. Seems like every time we do a butchering, we have somebody new who wants to try out and see how it goes. So I don't think we've ever had a family member help us before. So her parents were interested to see the process, so they came over and
Nice.
gave us a hand. Yeah.
Nice.
So we used to do like 4 batches of like 30 meat birds at a time. So last year we started doing we'll get like 70, and then we'll process all of them in two batches instead of going 4. Just kind of
And-
frees up your summer so you don't have meat birds all summer long.
Yep.
Yeah. Just bang it out all at once, basically.
Yeah, it's not fun, but I don't know. I feel like one of the worst parts about harvesting day is cleanup. I want to know, what do you guys think? What's the worst part?
Amen, brother.
Uh,
That is the
oh,
worst
yeah.
part.
clean. Well, yeah, setting up and
Clean up.
cleaning up. Set up and clean up.
Yep.
I know. That's why I've been trying to do a permanent processing station here. Eventually, I'll do one, but that's my goal. I hate putting up easy
That's
ups
where
and
I'm at.
taking them down, and
Yep.
I mean, we do it at least 4 times a year. So that's a lot. That's a lot to just do. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's no fun.
Yep.
It is. It's a long day, and then you're like, oh, wait, I'm done butchering, but now we got to clean up and pick up all the mess, wash everything down, get rid of
Yeah.
all the carcasses and everything, or your
Mhm.
guts, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah,
I think it's the
I mean-
part you don't really think about.
unless you have a workshop and you have a bunch of people helping you.
Right. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like
Well,
that
not
idea.
just for that fact, but
We-
we're just talking to people, I mean, not because that we have more hands. I mean, there's that, but then also everyone's kind of talking and we're kind of hanging out,
Right.
where it makes it funner, it makes it more relaxed, and you kind of feel like you're just hanging out with friends, like you're just hanging out with people and you're just butchering chickens,
It turns it into an
Right.
event.
that
It's
kind
like
of
a
makes the
hangout.
day. Yeah,
Makes it more normal.
it does. It does.
Normal.
Instead of okay, I got to go out there, it's basically just us, but that can be
Right.
daunting, so it
Yep.
makes it a little bit more fun. But now, do you film? You don't film those butcher days, do you? Al?
We used to. We haven't the last couple of years. We'll usually show our setup and then talk about how it went and kind of show how many birds we've done and kind of stuff like that. But the butchering itself, we don't. We find that a lot of people don't really care to watch it,
Yeah,
and then YouTube on the same side doesn't care to show it. So
yeah, I agree, but I still show it anyways. I was like, people don't people don't want to watch it, but you're gonna get it anyways.
right.
But
Hey, if you don't
But
want
I
to
don't
watch
know.
it, click off.
I like filming them. Yeah, I mean, I like filming those days. Well, it's more fun when when we do the workshops here, and then we have a bunch of people here, and getting their reactions on camera is really, and talking to them on camera is what I really like doing. I think if it was just us and butchering chickens all the time, then yeah, I probably wouldn't film at all. I probably would stop filming it because you can only show that so many times, and it's just us butchering chickens. But when you bring in other people and share their kind of reasons why they want to do this, I feel like more people need to see that. I mean, there's still
Yeah.
a ton of people that I still get those comments. They're like, "Man, I can't believe you're doing that, like, stuff like that. So it makes it more normal, I guess. But I hear
I
what you
like
mean.
that you do that. And you'll ask because it even's like, oh yeah, that's one of the reasons why I do it myself, or that's one of the reasons why we
Hmm.
raise our food. Listening to when you go around to the people who have came and they're saying, oh, this is why we're doing it. It's like, yep, that is why we're doing it.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's cool. So I was watching your last video out, and I was thinking like the logistically, like filming this shop build, like it's probably a lot of planning, right? Because you're filming it too. I mean, it feels like every time you put out a video, it's like almost like perfect. Like, is there ever a time where but because like the trucks came in with the concrete.
Yep.
I mean, you gotta plan that, right?
We usually try to
I mean,
plan ahead of
it's got to be
time.
hard.
Yeah, it is. It can be hard. So we're trying to plan ahead of time and then just trying to line up everything logistically. So like concrete pour day, I lined that up 2 weeks in advance before we were even ready, just because I knew it was going to take a long time to get logistically everything lined up. And I don't know about where you guys are, but for in our area, if somebody calls up for concrete and they're just a homeowner, it's kind of like, ugh. The concrete company's like, ugh, it's a homeowner calling. So like
Yep.
you're on the back burner if you call, later. So I'm like, I better call like ahead of time. So we called ahead of time. I'm like, I want the first pour, so we can have all the three trucks kind of lined up, and you can tell them how far apart you want them spaced, stuff
Yeah,
like
because I
that.
have my neighbor. He's trying to build his own house, right? And so he's waiting. He's been waiting for a concrete guy
Yep.
to do the foundation, and it's been like 3 months. Like they keep telling him, I'm a month out. I'm a month out, and he's like, what? He's living in a RV trailer, and he's just like, I'm just waiting on people,
Yep.
like. And so I was just thinking that as I was watching your video, I was like, man, I don't know. It seems like it's a lot happening. I don't know if it's just our area or something or what, but it just like it just takes a while, and no one
Yep.
wants to give
Yep.
you like a definite answer, like yes, I'll be there this day. I mean, that happened with putting in windows in our house. Like it took like almost a year for us to get windows, you know.
Right.
And so, that's what
I
I was
think
thinking.
things have Yeah, I think things have gotten worse since COVID. Like they haven't got any better.
Hmm.
I think feel like all this kind of stuff trying to line up, it's gotten worse. I don't know if it's more people are busier building because people have moved to out of state in different states, so they're building new homes. I know it's one of the reasons why we haven't done like a true foundation. We're just building on a floating slab because
Mhm.
we can do that ourselves. I can't do a whole foundation myself. I don't have forms, and if I wanted to get a regular foundation poured, it'd be 6 months to a year in advance that I'd have
Mm.
to get it all lined up in our area.
It's not just building a chicken coop. You're building an actual building.
So I guess I'll have a good question for you guys. So like for us, I have to plan. I want to say plan, but I have to be thinking 6 months ahead of what we're going to be doing in the wintertime for projects. So like part of this, why we're doing the workshop now is if I don't get it all finished, as long as it's like framed in, I can do that in the winter, and then I'll have projects I can do in the winter inside. Like we can't start this project in the middle of winter because
Mhm.
all the ground would be frozen.
Yeah, I guess I've never built that big of a. I never had that big of a project to think of that far
Yeah,
ahead. But I see where you're coming from there. I think that would probably be the same here on our end. Um, I mean, it doesn't. You'd probably get way
Yeah,
more
for
colder
sure.
than us and snow, but still, there was times that we've got some good frost and it's been frozen. So yeah, I guess I never had that big of a project where I had to think that far ahead. But now, yeah, that's something to think about if we do end up doing something like that.
what have you been up to, Ben?
All right. Whole bunch of harvesting and putting stuff away. Um, you probably can't see it behind me. Anybody who's watching the YouTube, we braided all of our garlic. It's all hanging up in the kitchen. kitchen smells like garlic. If you leave and then come back, you're aware of how strong it smells in here. It was something like just shy of 40 pounds of garlic we grew and put up, which is really cool. More just packing stuff away. All the potatoes we harvested. I think we finally got a weight on what we've harvested. I might have talked about that last week, but it was like 250 pounds of potatoes we're at so far. And then a lot of other stuff starting to come in. And green beans are coming in, so we're canning green beans. Squash and stuff like that is starting to come in. So the onslaught is beginning. This is like my favorite part of summer. Like it's too hot to really enjoy being outside in the middle of the day, but we can harvest stuff, and then during the heat of the day, we can just come in here and can it or preserve it in some way and just do inside stuff. And so this is kind of a really busy but fun time of year for us, getting to put stuff up. I think summer is really like it's set when the tomatoes and peppers start coming in, because then, you know, when we start making like tomato sauce and stuff like that, that's when it's like, I know we're going to open that come like December or January when you're just wanting some sunshine. We're going to open up a can of tomato sauce and be reminded why we're doing this and sweating all summer long. So, yeah. As far as other stuff, a lot of maintenance. I dug my wood chipper out today, and the thing won't start. So, it's a almost 40-year-old wood chipper, so it's had a pretty good life. But now I get to be a tinkerer with a small engine, so that's always fun. That's just the stuff that happens on a homestead. You have to have so many feathers in your cap of all the things you know how to do, and I've never really been like a engine mechanic or anything like that, but better believe, son, you have to learn on a homestead. So other than that,
it's been a couple of weeks since you sold your milk cow, right?
Yes. She left on the 4th of July. They came and picked her up, and it has been actually really nice having so much extra time in the morning to get stuff done. We have settled into our new routine pretty well. It's kind of weird. We didn't eat breakfast until after we were done milking, and some mornings we wouldn't eat breakfast until like 10:30 in the morning, and we're eating breakfast at a normal time now, and it's just like I forgot how nice it is to actually like eat meals when you want to eat meals instead of, noon. We just call it brunch. But yeah, I do miss the milk. We had to go buy milk and cream and stuff, and that kind of hurt a little bit. But, like I said, we'll do this for a while, and if it really starts bothering us, we'll just go find another cow.
Yep.
So other than that, I think that's pretty much
it. Steer
bed. Yeah. That's what I was going to ask. How's the steer, the calf?
So we have handled this steer a lot because, we've done the calf share, so we're having to pull him off and put him on milk and then put the calf on. He gets her to let down, that type of situation. And so he's halter broken. Like I halter broke this steer, and he's just a big puppy. Like that's what he reminds me of, is just a big puppy. Well, once his mom left, he's a only cow now, and he gets lonely. So he'll start mooing and carrying on. Actually, here pretty quick, he's probably going to start mooing. You guys might be able to hear him in the background. But usually all we have to do is just go out and talk to him for a minute, and he calms down. But that has been kind of hard because he's made so much noise. But like I said, if push came to shove, we'd just speed up his date with the freezer. But so far, he hasn't been too bad.
You have to get a sheep or two to be his pasture buddy.
Yeah.
So I don't know about getting more sheep. I think the thing I didn't like about sheep is how skittish they are. And kind of the way we're set up,
Yep.
we don't have any perimeter fencing around the whole place. I think we're maybe about half fenced. And if those sheep get out, they're gone. Because nobody around here has fences except our neighbors on the hill.
How's your milk cow going, Al?
She is doing good. We've been having to train her, so she was never milked before. This is her first fresh thing, and she had the calf, I think, 2 or 3 weeks before we got her, and I think she was milked once or twice just by the previous owner to try. So she did good at first. We had to hobble her a little bit, and she would still kick we're using a milking machine. She would kick or she'd be able to get her feet up and pull off the milking cups off her back teeth. So we got a can't kick bar that just kind of like goes over the top of their back and goes up to the front of their udder, and it just puts pressure on it. And we've been using it for I think this morning was the third day, and she just stood there. The first 2 days she tried to pick up her feet, and she couldn't. Like you'd see her like kind of like two-step, and then she'd settle down. And this morning she just stood there the whole time, and so it's made it a lot nicer. Halter training the calf, that's kind of been a little fun. But he's doing good too, so we have to have patience for ourselves so we don't get too frustrated and kind of thing. So I think it's a learning experience for us and the cows.
Oh yeah.
Bribery and backup. That was what worked for me. Was I would just have someone behind him while I was leading him, and if he planted his feet, they'd just push on his butt and he'd start moving. And then I made sure he got a reward when we got done. And he figured out the program pretty quick. It still probably took 6 months to really get him good on a lead.
So what we've been finding, if you go up and you pet him while you're walking him, like get like right up beside him and like scratch his neck, he'll just kind of keep going. Where if you kind of like try to lead him from a head, he'll just plant his feet and just like, nope, I'm not going anywhere.
Yep.
So he likes the neck scratches, luckily. I think Jason's rainwater collection system looks pretty close to a milk stanchion, so that should be his next project: is a milk stanchion and get a dairy cow.
Might as well.
There you go. Yep.
Not yet.
So that's what we should do.
Don't bribe me.
We'll just get a milk cow and we'll just trade it back and forth. I'll milk for a while and then send it over to your place, and you can milk for a while. And...
Yeah, that actually that might be an option. I mean, yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. My wife came up with this topic. I don't know if she was giving me a hint, but we'll talk about what are things that we put off, like we're putting off. And it could be anything, like stuff that we need to build or fix or do something. And for whatever reason, why are we putting this off? And what is it? Now, certain things I don't think it's called putting off. You know what I mean? Like, it may be like certain things I think need to happen in steps until you can get to it. I'll go down my list. It's actually not my list, but it's my wife's list. I only had one thing on the list, but so the house that we bought, it has no back door. All right, we have to go through our front door for whatever reason. They never put a back door on this thing. We just didn't have one. Huh. And so there's an area though where you could put a back door, and we very much would rather have a back door than keep on having to go through our front door every time we go in and out. So a year ago, I bought a door, and I have not installed it yet. Well, a part of me, because, I don't know if people noticed in the videos, but like we have a big mud room, and we've talked about this mud room in other videos, and that mud room used to be a carport at some point, and somebody enclosed it in it to make it look like a log cabin. So it's very interesting, and that's where I want to put the door. So it's basically like these giant timbers, like a log cabin, uh, that I have to cut out and put the door in. So there's going to be some custom thing going on, like I probably have to frame it in. Because I mean, I'm talking about the timbers are probably 6 inches thick. Um, so a part of me is the reason why I haven't done it is because like I'm not too sure how I'm gonna do this. It might be one of those things like I'm just gonna have to cut the door and just kind of figure it out as I go. And so I'm trying to do it, pick the right time of season. I don't want to do it in the summer because then there's just a bunch of bugs out and they all get in. So a lot of these things, I think, they're probably winter projects. So I'm still waiting on that to do that door. My fence line, I keep on putting off because it's summer and it's too hot to do it. Oh, I know. Another big one is a kitchen remodel. We've been wanting to remodel our kitchen since we moved in. Everything else is pretty much done. I mean, the house didn't need much, but if anything, we painted the house. But now the next step is the kitchen, and that just never really remodeled the kitchen before. That's the next step, and for whatever reason, I think because Lorraine cooks in the kitchen, cook all our meals. And so it's like, once we start gutting stuff out, it's like, we have to plan it to where we're probably not going to be able to cook, and how fast can I rebuild it? And I feel like not doing it in the summer is probably better and maybe wait till the winter. What else?
You almost need to set up a temporary kitchen
Yeah, I
while you
mean,
do that.
that's another thing we want to do. We do want to put an outdoor kitchen right outside our house. So maybe I got to build the outdoor kitchen first, and then get the inside kitchen.
Right?
Yep. There you go.
It'd be less, yeah, it'd be less stress on you while you're trying to remodel the kitchen. You wouldn't have the pressure of like, oh my gosh, I gotta get this done yesterday because we can't cook in here. That's the hardest thing when you're homesteading. You're always making most of your own meals.
Yeah,
Yep.
I guess so. I mean, we have I mean, I don't know. It's just, I think we just have to plan it and do it. And also figure out, what kind of cabinets, like all those details of like how we want it to look. I mean, we have an idea already, but yeah, it's just a matter of just picking a date and just doing it. But it'll most likely happen in the winter. I've been wanting to build barn doors. I think I've talked about it with you, Ben, before, for my horse barn. They're like giant doors. I mean, the doors are
They're like,
huge. I didn't
what,
know,
15 feet
maybe
tall?
12 feet high. Yeah, something like that. So at least on one side of the barn, the side that I don't really go in and out of. I would like to close that, and that would be the side that I would put all my tools in. But then I'm thinking of shortening the door height and maybe putting in because it doesn't necessarily need to be that high. I don't think, not on that side. The other side we use to hoist up our animals to butcher them. So I feel like that should be taller. But the other side, I was thinking about shortening the door height and putting in a sliding door. So that way it's not two sliding doors that come in the middle. Of course, I think it comes down to priority, like making sure our animals are safe out there, and make sure like building raised garden beds that became a priority, so we could grow food in it. Water, figuring out the water situation. All of a sudden all these things come up. It's like building a lean-to shed on top of my property with a rainwater catchment on there. Is becoming a priority. And everything just keeps getting pushed back. I'm sure there's more I could think of, but those are the main ones for now.
Why is it? Because I also suffer from the same thing. Like, until it is like on fire, I end up not dealing with it. Why does this happen? Is it something that we can change? Is it something that is even a bad thing? But I suffer from the exact same problem. There's stuff that I need to do, and until it is basically on fire and needs to be done, I don't do it.
Do you think filming for like a YouTube channel has anything to do with it?
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, but I mean, generally, if it's something that you can film, then hey, we can double dip. The project gets done, and we have content. But I don't know. I don't know why it is that way.
Like sometimes I want to work on a project, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but you just want to get out there and just start messing with like the materials, whatever it is you got going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just like, I don't really wasn't planning on doing this right now, but I'm just gonna go out there and like do something. But I'm not gonna film it because I'm not really feel like I'm doing like filming. Like I'm just putting it together. That's something I struggle with because I feel like I'm not really doing anything to film it. Like I'm not completing something, or I'm not getting to a stopping point on it. Like it's just
It doesn't feel like you're going to have a whole video worth of content.
Yeah, exactly. I just think maybe other things pop up that are not that pushes other things back. Like growing food, like that's important.
Right.
Plus, maybe certain things are not fun. Maybe it's just like something that you don't really want to do. It's something that needs to be done, but like I don't want, like a putting in the door. I don't really want to do that, but I don't want to do that. But
for me, filming certain projects, especially it's stuff that I'm not real sure on how to do, stuff that I have to figure out while I'm doing it. That's the stuff that kind of like I kind of have a barrier. I have a hard time. Stuff that I want to film, like it would be great content for YouTube, but I'm not 100% sure on how to do it. It kind of hurts sometimes when you get beat up over something you weren't sure on how to do anyways. And yeah, I think that's definitely a barrier that I've had. Is it's kind of like project paralysis. It's like, well, I need to film this, I need to do it, but I'm not sure on how to do it, and I don't want to get beat up over it for doing it wrong, and yada yada. It's a vicious circle.
We get that all the time, and it still gets me. Like we get beat up all the time because we never do anything right, and I'm not perfect. I struggled with it really bad. I had a friend tell me once that the Amish people, if they did anything good whether they thought they did it good or not, they would mess it up at the end to remind themselves that they're not the creator. They're not ever going to be able to do anything perfect. And I was like, man, I like it.
I like that.
Is good. Like it kind of takes that stress off. It's like that's what he was saying. He's like, yeah, he's like in the Amish culture. I don't know if it's true or not. He said they'll intentionally make a mess up in whatever they're doing just to remind themselves that they're not the creator, that they don't have to be perfect, and nor are we supposed to be.
I like
it's
that.
off by like a quarter of an inch. I'm gonna make it off like a quarter of an inch. Yeah.
But then I guess the other thing I remind there is so many different ways to do the same thing. And just because somebody from one area does it one way or does it this way or thinks you're a bonehead because you did it that way doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah,
I'll say the biggest one we get, how do you guys screw your tin down? If you put like a metal roof on, what do you screw it in like the high point or do you screw it in the low point?
Low point. At least that's how I've done it.
High point. High point.
High point. Okay. So we do it in the low point. That's how we've always been taught to do it, and that's the way like the metal manufacturers that we use, that's how they recommend doing it.
Yeah.
Anytime I put a screw down metal roof on, I get roasted in the comments because I'm doing it wrong. I'm an idiot. You're supposed to screw it in the high points. So it's just, no matter which way you do it, you're going to get whatever.
Yeah.
But
Well, I guess, yeah. I've only built like chicken coops, so if it was a house, I'm not sure.
But I'm pretty sure some manufacturers recommend screwing it in the high point, and then some recommend screwing it in the low point. So I
Yeah,
don't
so
think they're right or wrong. It's just
Yeah, my horse barn, being on that roof multiple times, it's nailed down on its high point.
I try to look at getting beat up as at least we're out there doing something. It's usually like the armchair quarterbacks that are roasting us. I don't know if
that's true.
if they're doing anything or not, but I mean, we're out there doing it. A lot of people like to read books and learn how to do stuff, but they don't always go out and do it. I'd rather go out and do it and then learn. Next time I do it, I'll do it better.
Oh yeah,
Yep. That's
like this water tower.
That's it right there.
I got a lot of fun comments.
I'm sure.
You know, sometimes maybe I'm not sure like what I'm doing, you know, like I'm not sure if this is right, or, you know, maybe it's something I'm building, or a lot of times I just turn on the camera and just point it whatever it is I'm doing, and just, I don't even talk, like just at least I'm recording it, and I'm not putting
I'll do that too.
any more effort into it. I'm just hitting record, you know, and then just pointing it at that direction that I'm doing it, and then kind of seeing where that goes, and then I keep doing that, or I'll do that if I don't even feel like filming. You know, I don't feel like filming today, but I know I probably should, and so I'm just gonna set up the camera and just point it, and I'm not gonna do anything extra. I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna describe anything. It's just gonna be pointed at me, and so that usually those videos is when I don't feel like doing anything and just pointing it. You know.
Yep. I think having a schedule, an uploading schedule for me has helped me. Like, hey, I upload this, so no matter what, like, hey, it's my job. I go to work every day, and this is what I'm doing, whether I want to or not. It's kind of like force myself. I'm trying to think, we were doing YouTube for maybe a year ish, and I did a 30-day. Took a Tim Schmoyer class, and at the end of the class, somebody talked about there was like a 30-day challenge, like do a video a day, just upload every day. And so we did that for 30 days. I think it turned into a year. We did daily uploads. I think after that, we just kind of made sure we had a schedule. It's kind of like you have to do something.
Yeah.
So.
That's tough. I've never done a schedule.
I mean,
what was that?
You can get beat on in the comments. You can get beat on in the comments, and it can definitely be like, oh man, I don't want to upload today. I don't want to see how much of a mess screw up I am, but kind of thing.
Yeah, I think what's funny. Don't look at the comments.
Right.
Doing that schedule, we did that last year, and we basically kept a schedule for an entire year. We did 4 days a week, and I think it was one of the best things we ever did, because it's your job. It keeps you focused, keeps you driven. It was a real positive thing. Now we've kind of dialed it back a little bit this year, but we did it for 12 months. We did a schedule, and it was great.
Yeah, I should probably try that. I think I would probably agree with you. It'd probably be good. It's probably a good thing to have a schedule. But I don't know. I like just rolling out of bed and just just saying, what am I? Just think about that at that moment, what I want to film and what I want to do, and not be like.
Well, you don't gotta know.
What's that?
You don't gotta know what you're gonna film every day before you wake up out of bed. You just gotta know, hey, I'm making a video today.
Yes, oh yeah, or that. Right, yeah, there. I was like, sometimes I'm like, nah, I'm not making anything today. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yep.
I think what's funny
Maybe I
is
should try it,
sticking
though.
to a schedule is having content create itself. And it's like, well, today's a film day, and look at this. This just happened. I guess we're filming it. That's
Yep.
honestly the best videos is when the content makes itself. You're not wandering around like, oh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna film today? And all of a sudden, life happens, and you are able to capture it. Those are my favorite videos. Those are the ones that are fun to look back on, and it's like, oh man, I remember that day. Everything fell apart, and we captured it.
I mean, you
So
don't.
what projects have you been pushing off? Is there any certain ones?
So, I don't know. This is a topic that comes up on a regular basis. Projects that we've just, either put off or whatever. A real good one is I need to build a deck. I need to build a deck on the front. I need to build the deck on the back. And the project scope has kind of increased the longer we've been living in this mobile home. It was going to be a full length deck, and now we've decided we are going to add on to this mobile home. We need more pantry space inside, and then we also need one more bedroom because the baby can't live in our room forever. So we're going to add probably about a third of the mobile home as an add-on. So that changes how I'm going to build the deck. Okay, so there's a hang up. Originally, the reason why we hadn't built the deck yet was because in 2020, lumber just skyrocketed. And we were, it was like, oh yeah, it's going to be, several $1,000s to build a deck. And now it's, way higher. And so I was just waiting, and a year turned into 2 years, and here we are. We've been in this thing for 3 years now. Haven't built a deck, and we're kind of to the point where it's getting ready to catch on fire, as far as the priority list. But I think one of the hard things is the reasons you don't do something can actually build and snowball and get away from you. Originally it was like, the price of wood. So, we're going to go broke having to build this deck and yada yada. And then, now we're talking about doing an addition, and, and it just snowballs. And then before you know it, you're looking at 3 years later, and you still have a door that you can't walk out of because there's no deck, and there's only one person to blame. And so I think that's been one of my struggles, is making sure excuses don't crop up. One of the other things that me and Meg talk about a lot is sometimes, I'll talk to her. It's like, am I lazy? No. And it's like, how come this stuff isn't getting done? Like, it's not like I'm sitting around doing nothing. Like, I work on stuff every single day, whether the camera's on or not. And it's just, it's just hard. I guess prioritizing is kind of my problem. That's been my biggest struggle, is keeping things on the list at the top of the list.
Do you guys write anything down, or is it all in our head?
No, we do. Meg really likes having lists, and a lot of times they help me. I'm kind of a squirrel, and so I just go after the project that is on fire the hottest. But yeah, we actually have a whiteboard in the kitchen that we write down various things that need to be done or have to be done. Just when we're sitting here drinking a cup of coffee, and it's like, hey, you know what? We need to do blah, blah, blah. Well, we'll go write it down. And then, the next day when you wake up and you can't remember what you had talked about, and it's like, oh, we have it written down. There's been a lot of projects. It feels really nice to cross stuff off the whiteboard. But yeah, we do write down stuff. I have taken to carrying a notepad in my pocket, a little small notepad and a pencil. And I have found writing ideas down when they come to me actually helps me remember them and go after them. I don't know why. Like, I used to take notes on my phone, and as soon as I take a note in my phone, I forget about it. But writing it down on paper seems to stick in my head.
Lorraine's the same way. She's a list maker. Good thing for her, because I'm not. But slowly over the last couple of years, well, especially moving to this bigger property, I started to try to write things down, carry a notebook. Even though I'm not great at it, but I still try to at least do that. Get into a habit of doing that.
We'll write stuff down. I like using notes in my iPad or my iPhone, I should say, and like you can like hit the dot. It's like check, check, check. That's kind of nice how you get that little feature now. Yes.
Yeah.
And like puts a smile on your face, like, yes, I got that one done. I think one of the things we try to do is figure out like our bigger vision plan for the property, and then just kind of see like, okay, what's more of a priority, and then I don't know, just kind of see what the priority is, and then I think it's seasonal and weather related, and I think sometimes it comes down to too like I got a lot of areas we want to clear to make silvopastures, and I'm like, how would I make that into a video? Like I'm in the woods, like cutting a tree down. If I'm gonna be doing that for a week or two or a month, like, how do I work that in?
Yeah, how do you work that in?
Is it a nighttime project, or what do we need to do?
I suppose if it's like like building a shop, like that's gonna take some months probably, right? So like that's gonna be.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I mean, that's all. I mean, you could film every day if you wanted to, probably, almost every day, and film that whole process.
Yep.
But like something like, say, like this water tower I just did, I made that just into one video. It took me 2 weeks to do it, and I think in the past I would probably make that part of my day while I do other things instead of making it one big video. I kind of got bored of doing that. Plus, there's a little bit of satisfaction of making one big video, of start to finish.
Yep.
That is very
that I like
satisfying.
doing. I mean, you could put out one. I think you've done it before, Al, haven't you? Like a time lapse video of the whole build, or something like that.
We did the time lapse. Yeah, we did a couple of time lapse. Funny thing with when we've ever done a time lapse, we get haters coming out at us like constantly, all pissed off because they think we wanted to take a day off, so we put a time lapse out because we didn't feel like making regular content. But the time lapses, I mean, that first time lapse we did took me like a month to compile all of my footage.
Yeah.
It took like a month to do it. It's just like everybody was pissed off. How dare you make a time lapse? I've already watched all of this stuff before. You just wanted a day off.
Yeah.
Oh,
you took the easy way out, Al.
Yes, I did. That's what yes, I took the easy. I wanted a day off, so I just slapped that together and was done with it.
Yeah, it took you a whole month to do it.
Gonna hate.
Oh,
I think that's hard when it's something like you put your heart and soul into, and then it's like you're all excited about it, and then you're like, oh, I can't wait for everybody to see it, and then it's like, boom, it's like, ooh, that hurt.
But did the video do good? Did those videos do good? Like in the long run?
Time lapse of the barn build didn't at first. It flopped, I think, for the first year. Now it's like our highest viewed video with like 12 or 13 million views.
Wow.
Wow.
We've done other time lapses and they haven't done as well. We did one on the greenhouse and that flopped, and that still hasn't. And that was the same thing. Anytime we've done any of the other time lapses, we've just got haters coming after us like, you just wanted a day off, how dare you? So we haven't done one with the house yet. And it's like, I don't know,
it's a lot of work.
Put all your time and energy into it, and then
that's like I usually do like a year-end video where I put it out like in December or January, where it's basically combining all my videos throughout the whole year and making one big long movie, like an hour long at least. But yeah, it takes like a month to edit, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you do get the people that were like, I already saw these videos. Like you just put them into one giant video. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, but those videos always do good for me. Like they always do good.
I don't know if Ben and Meg, if they've ever done like a big video on how it's went for them.
Yeah, we did I think the last like real big video we did was about finding our home. We
Mm-hmm.
summarized our road trip across America. That was a probably 45-minute video or something like that. That was pretty long. Um, and that one has done good. It did okay at the start, and it's just continuing to make views. And we don't have no million views on it, but last I saw, which I haven't checked in a while, it was like 500,000 views on that video. Which, when we put it out, I think we only had maybe 20,000 subscribers. Like it wasn't. We didn't have a big pool
Yep.
to choose from, so it's been steadily climbing. We did one when we got to this place, when we
Nice.
found this property, but we haven't really done another one since. We've just been kind of busy. Now, doesn't mean we don't want to, but some of those longer
Yeah.
videos, bigger videos like that, they kind of take some planning, and it's just been one of those things we just
Oh
haven't
yeah.
sat down and
Yep.
said, "Hey, let's make a video about this." But I'm sure there's going to be one
Yep.
soon. I know Meg has a fun time editing those videos. She always does a good job with them.
I think the big ones that we just been putting off is like little stuff like we want to do more pasture area, silvo pastures and
Okay.
stuff like that. And it's kind of the time more than anything, just and then waiting to find out. I think it's kind of more of a waiting game right now to kind of like wait and see like the best way to use the land,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it takes time, especially when you have to do something with the land. Like see how it goes,
Right.
see how it is.
Cool. So I guess do we want to do like how are we gonna hold each other accountable for these projects that we've been putting off?
um, how are we
Honestly,
gonna do
actually
that?
talking to someone, talking to you guys about it is actually really good because I don't know. It's someone outside of my immediate circle, my family, and
Yep.
talking about it just gets me thinking about it a lot more. Really, I'm starting to feel like there's a fire burning that I need to put out. So for me, it's actually nice talking about this stuff.
Have you guys like figured out how big you want it to be? Like your footprint for the new addition?
It's so we're gonna leave the trees that shade this building. So it's gonna be like 10 feet by that's like 30 feet or something like that. So it's a fairly good addition.
Nice.
Again, back to
Yep.
the not completely sure on how to do it, is I'm going to change the roof line so it doesn't look completely wacky. Um, and so that's something that I'm kind of like, I'm not sure on how to do this because, it is still just a mobile home. Um, it doesn't really have like nice big trusses that you can work with. So I kind of have to do it weird, if you know what I mean.
Yep. Now, is
Yeah.
the mobile home sitting on a concrete slab? Is it on
Nope.
blocks
It's
or
on blocks. Yeah, we're on piles. So
it's on blocks?
that's been something too. Is like when I build this deck, I'm gonna do cement anchors holding it all to the ground, and I'm afraid the deck is
Yep.
actually gonna be better built than the mobile home.
I don't know how we're
That
gonna
works.
keep
Yeah,
all each
yeah,
other
that
accountable.
works.
Maybe we just need to go over each other's houses and help each other out.
Right.
That would be awesome. But
I think I think the big thing for Beth is you have to figure out. For me, I would think is figuring out how I'd want to tie the roof lines in.
I've got a pretty good idea of how I'm gonna do it. It'll involve peeling off one side of the roof, which is just metal. I
Yep.
guess they re-roofed this and they just put metal right over the asphalt shingles. So there's asphalt shingles, cleats, and then the metal. And all I have to do is peel that up and basically make faux trusses over the asphalt, pretty much. yeah, it's stuff like this. Maybe we'll sit down and have a chit chat off of the podcast. I can bounce some ideas off
Right.
you, see what you think.
Now, do you got an auger for your tractor?
Yep. It
So that
still
makes it
doesn't.
easier for putting your pears in the ground.
Well, the problem with where we're doing this is these great big trees. It's going to be nothing but roots up next to these trees, so it's going to be
Yep.
probably hand digging with an axe.
Yeah.
We'll just cross that bridge
Well,
when we
you
get
call me
there.
up
That's kind of
whenever
where
you
I'm
do
at
it,
with
man.
a lot of it. I
We'll just
will.
have a big work party.
You
Call
want to
me
come
up
over and
we'll
get
go
some
over there.
blisters with me? Oh yeah. Sounds good.
Need a workout. All right. Well, I think that's it, guys. That was a good hour. Well,
Awesome.
thanks
Awesome.
everyone for listening to these podcasts and watching us. These are pretty fun. We've got a lot of subscribers, 7,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that is
still
pretty
waiting to
cool.
get on iTunes. So I know some of you guys been waiting or asking me when is it going to be on iTunes, but hopefully soon. This is going to take a while, but we're on just about every other podcast app. So thank you guys for listening and watching, and thank you guys. Hope you guys have a good week. We'll see you.
See you later.
Bye.